politics, Chanakya is the flavor of the season. Anybody with half a strategy is labelled a Chanakya. So let me borrow a quote from Chanakya. He said, "Learn from the mistakes of others. You can't live long enough to make them all yourself." Now, as we see Jeremy Corbyn's long list of blunders, what can politicians around the world learn from him? Lesson number 1, do your homework. Do not venture into interviews without preparation. Remember Rahul Gandhi's infamous TV interview from 2014, the one that made him a standing joke. His image hasn't quite recovered since. Jeremy Corbyn made the same mistake. He should have known that anti-Semitism in the Labour Party would be raised. He looked ill-prepared for that question and ill at ease while answering it. Lesson number 2, say sorry when you must. Politics is the game of perception. Appear too rigid and you've lost the plot. Anti-Semitism is a serious issue. Denying the Holocaust is neither logical nor right. There is no excuse for a political party to do so, and there is no option for its leader but to apologize. And yet, Jeremy Corbyn refused. He's already paying for it. Adamance is not the same as determination. Not willing to apologize for glaring mistakes is not resilience. It is very bad strategy. Lesson number 3, and this is interesting. Know your manifesto. That's the least you can do. In a recent interview, Jeremy Corbyn was at odds with his party on tax hike. The Labour manifesto says that tax allowance of married couples will be scrapped. And this will affect 2 million people in the country. When you plan such tax hikes, you must know the income tax brackets of the people you're talking about. It's the least minimum. But Mr. Corbyn was clueless about all of this, and it showed. Lesson number 4, stick to relevant issues. Do not grandstand for votes. You might crash land. The Labour Party's misadventure and many U-turns on Kashmir are a good example. A completely unnecessary controversy that has upset British Indians. Lesson number 5, keep your flock together. Earlier this year, 7 influential Labour Party leaders quit. The reason they cited was this: Jeremy Corbyn and his inability to address anti-Semitism in the party. How do you lead a country when you cannot even lead your own party? Lesson number 6, practice what you preach. It's all right to take a moral high ground sometimes, but do follow it up with action. Promising welfare spending is fine, but that doesn't sit pretty with plans to raise taxes for the poor. And the final lesson, political economy is not a zero-sum game. Taking on big tech and branding them evil is neither good economics nor sound politics. If and when Brexit happens, the United Kingdom will need the support of the corporate community to prevent an economic doom and gloom. Castigating companies as evil will hurt business sentiment and sour public sentiment. Capitalism does not mean ill treatment of labor, and socialism does not mean a war against capitalists. Global politics and economics have come a long way since the mid-1800s. And rap music, by the way, does not win votes. Why just politicians? We can all learn from the Jeremy Corbyn playbook. As for him, if he loses the election and decides to leave politics, he can write a book, How Not to Win Friends and Influence People.